Okay, this little video is meant to get us started in our next little concept idea that we need to deal with, which is references pages. We started it in week 4, so we're dealing with those things that you missed at the beginning of the course. So it all has to do with paying attention, and I want to ask you, how good are you at paying attention to details? Are you good at paying attention to details? Maybe in certain situations you are. Thinking about if you're dealing with any kind of machinery, you have to, really pay attention to what's going on. You could get hurt, for example. There's different situations in life where we need to pay attention to details. So I want to start us off with just a little kind of fun activity about paying attention to details. So I'm going to go to this URL and have a look. I've got 3. I hope you're not hungry as you're watching this, but I've got 3 sandwiches. Take a look. One of these is slightly different than the others. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to see if you can find the difference between these. One of them is different. Which one? You have your answer. The answer is C. The bun, the biscuit, is larger in photo C. Okay, let's do another one. Here are 3 nice tall sandwiches. Which one is different? One of them is different. I'll give you 10 seconds. The answer is A. The little piece of cheese that's here and here is not here. Let's do one more. Again, little tiny details that we're looking for. 10 seconds. What's the difference? Which one is different? The different one is B. This little piece of lettuce that's here, tiny little piece, is not there, right? Okay, so that's paying attention to details when we're looking at sandwiches. But why am I talking about it? Well, I'm going to start talking about details that you've had to pay attention to before. Do you remember all of the information that needs to go into that source sentence, that first sentence in the summary? See if you can remember those things. Author, title, and there's a specific format for the title, the date, it's only the year, it's in brackets. So there's a lot of little details about how that needs to go in there, how there's rules that govern what exactly that sentence looks like. So let me ask you another question. Why is it necessary to provide readers with this information? Well, one of the reasons is to show that, if you've taken an idea from another place, that it's not your idea. If you claim that it's your idea, that's, it's actually illegal. It's plagiarism. So if you reference someone else, if you use their ideas or summarize their ideas, you've got to tell readers, look, this came from somewhere else. This is not my idea, or these are not my words. So how can you help a reader find the original source material? Let's say that they're reading something that you've written and you've got a paraphrase in there, or you've got a summary in there, and you say, this comes from this article written by John Smith, right? So maybe that reader wants to go and find the original article written by John Smith. How do you help them find it? So that's what we're taking a look at now. At the end of anything that you write that references somebody else, you need to create what's called a reference page. And this page shows all of the original, where to find all of that original source material. There are different systems, there are different rules for organizing this information depending on where you work or study. Which one is used at Humber? We call it APA. That stands for the American Psychological Association, I believe. And again, there's different systems, different rules, different schools, different workplaces have different ones. Here in our course and in Humber, we use the APA rules. So that's what we're going to take a look at today. Creating the APA rules for, creating a references page according to APA rules. And again, that references page, it's a page that comes at the end of any piece of writing that you do where you use somebody else's ideas and you're just saying where you got that original information from. So, a references page in APA, again, it's to try to help that reader find the original source. So if that's the reason, what information do you think goes in each entry? See if you can, think of a couple of ideas that a reader might need in order to find the original article that maybe you wrote or you read. Maybe you read it in a book or maybe you saw it online. You want to help the reader of what you've written find that original. So think about what could go in there. Also think about things like font size and spacing and formatting. Think about the things that I've asked you to do in your assignments in terms of size and spacing and formatting. Those are pretty common formatting rules as well. So let's say that you've written something and in it you quoted or you referenced a YouTube video. So what do you think would go in that reference page entry to show, okay, this is the YouTube video that I originally saw when I was writing something. So in order to find out, we're going to use a little video that Humber has. So we're going to be watching a video in video. So I hope that works out fine. I've got, let me go there. Okay, so this comes from Humber. And these are really useful little videos to help you. And I'm going to ask you to use these little videos in the assignment that I'm going to get you to do on references pages. And they're really good. They're not very exciting because it's not very exciting stuff. It's paying attention to details and finding and putting all the information in a very specific way. So it's not very exciting, but they are very thorough and they tell you what you need. So as we watch together, think about, you see what you can remember in terms of all of those little bits of information and the order they come in and all of this information. Let's watch.
This is APA in minutes. This video will show you the basics on how to cite a YouTube video in APA format. To cite a YouTube video, you will need the author, artist, company, or brand name that posted the video, the screen name of the YouTube user that posted the video, the year, month, and day the video was posted, the title of the video, and the URL. Sometimes you may find it difficult to find all of this information. Be sure to look carefully. Begin with the author's last name, comma, and initial. If the author is an organization or company, use the full name. After the name, add a period. In this case, the YouTube channel belongs to a band, so I will use the full band name. Now add the screen name. The screen name is located directly below the title of the video on the video's YouTube page. Surround the screen name with square brackets, followed by a period. If the author's name is unavailable, remove the square brackets from the screen name and use the screen name to start the citation. Or, if the screen name and the author name are the same, use only the author's name. The year is next, in parentheses, and follow with a period.
So you're starting to see that there are a lot of, well, this might happen, or if this happens, if that happens. There's never any, nothing in life is ever always the same. So there are instances where we might have some variation. So you've got to be careful about that and take that into account. Let's continue.
Now add the title. In italics. In APA, capitalize the first letter of the title and subtitle and capitalize any proper nouns.
Notice that this is different than that first sentence. In that first sentence that we use, that source sentence for a summary, you need to capitalize every word. This is different.
Include the words video file in square brackets. End with a period. Add the words retrieved from, and then the YouTube video URL. This is your APA YouTube video citation.
So what he's going to talk about next is how to format in general that references page that comes at the end. So all of these little videos right at the end, they talk about general formatting. So let's take a look at that.
Your reference list is at the end of your paper. Don't forget to double space and indent after the first line. Make sure to put your citations in alphabetical order. For more information and support with APA, book an appointment with your campus writing center, consult the online writing lab at Purdue, or refer to the APA manual in your library.
Those are all good sources for help, but I would say the number one place to go is the little videos at Humber. And there's a whole bunch of different ones for different situations, for newspapers, for books, etc. Okay, so let's go back to my little PowerPoint here, and let's take a look at those questions. What information goes in each entry? You'll see there's a lot of that similar information that we had in that source sentence. The title, the date, though, it's not just the year, it's the whole thing if you've got it. The title, the URL. So it really depends on the type of source that you found. That was for a YouTube video. It's slightly different for a book, slightly different for a magazine, etc. Okay, the font size and the spacing. They did talk about spacing, double spacing. There's a lot of different formatting, sometimes italic, sometimes not. The size they didn't really talk about, so use the size that I've always talked about, the font Calibri 12. Calibri 12. Okay, so in terms of, again, help from Humber for APA, I showed you one of the videos. There's lots of different ones depending on what the source is. So there's one for books, one for online images, YouTube videos, websites. This one shows you where you find like all of them. And again, as I showed you, the general formatting for references page is discussed at the end of each video, right? So if you do need help with any of these, we're not going to work with all of these, but there is help at the library.humber.ca for all of those. So here's what I'm going to get you to do as some practice with this. I've created some references that have mistakes in them. So remember I said this was all about paying attention to details. I want you to find and fix the mistakes, okay? So I've got two references that I'm going to give you, this little assignment. I'll show you in a second. I've got two references there. I want you to find 3 mistakes for each one. So let me take you to that assignment quickly. This is what it looks like, okay? This is what I sent you by email. So as it says here, the references below each have 3 mistakes, including errors in formatting and punctuation. There might be missing or incorrect information. So I'd like you to find and correct the mistakes in each and use the Humber Library's APA pages for help. So one of them is an online image. Here's the URL for the little video about online images. One of them is an online magazine. So I'd like you to use the video for an online newspaper because it's the same. Okay, online newspaper and online magazine, they're the same. So those are the videos. Here are the actual references, right? Here's one for an online image. Find 3 mistakes here, okay? This is the one for a magazine. Find 3 mistakes here. So I'm going to end the little video here and send this to you. In terms of getting feedback, we can do 2 things. You can write your answers here and send it back to me, or we can arrange a phone call. That might be easier to do. You find the mistakes, then we arrange a time to talk to each other on the phone, and you just tell me what the mistakes are, and I'll give you some feedback that way. That might be easier. All right? I will talk to you later.